Hello and welcome to this episode of the Road to Rec League podcast. My name's Callum, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about how I've been getting on with a good week at hockey, actually. Really enjoyable. That's right. Another week's gone by, and another good couple of sessions on the ice, actually. I even got one more than I thought I was going to. Well, not more, but I guess a different one. A slightly different approach this week. I think I've been trying to prioritize recovery as well. I think I talked about this in the last couple of episodes. I've just been getting to a point where my legs have almost felt saturated with effort. And that means that I'm actually not making the most of my time on the ice. I'm not making the most of, I suppose, like I'm putting in the same amount of effort, but maybe my technique is degrading because I'm trying hard, but I'm also fatigued. So I guess a bit of, I wouldn't say soul searching, but a bit of a review, I guess, on my approach to training over the last few weeks has been a bit helpful, and I think actually it's led to me having a few really good sessions this week. And the quantity hasn't really dropped off. I'm just giving myself time to breathe between the sessions. And with that in mind, actually, this was one of the first weeks that I missed Adult Learn to Play in quite a while because. And I don't think I'll be going again tomorrow either, which is a shame because I really enjoy the sessions, but just with how things are at the moment in terms of ice time availability. Also, I finished work, so I'm not driving down to where I work, which is a couple of hours away. So instead, I can pick a local rink rather than the one that's local to work. So so I just chose rest instead. I was actually out watching the Nottingham Panthers play the Five Flyers with a couple of friends. And had a really lovely time, and I just thought, do I want to rush back? I'm going to be tired. I've got skating again during the week, and I guess I want to put myself through that, and I decided I'd rather have the rest, and just I suppose take in what was like a fun day. I'm not doing this for a job, so it's important to get that balance right anyway. But that was then, I did fill my week with a few other sessions. And it started off with the team that I'm registered with, so on Wednesday, and had an awesome session. Probably one of the best sessions I've had with this group of people. And it's particularly important to me because I think, I don't know if I do a good job of really stating the gulfing difference between my capability as someone who's obviously been playing, I've been fully geared in hockeying now since August, so, 4 months. Versus the people who've been doing this for 5 to 15 years. That's the kind of, I guess, range that we're talking about, and or since they were 12 or something. So the gap in capability in these sessions with the registered team I'm registered with, or other teams that are, in the local area, is quite big. But I feel like I'm still able to contribute, even though my skating isn't great. So we did a couple of drills. As per usual, the drill we really focused on was this last man standing drill, which I really like. And it's basically you each have a puck. You're in one of the face-off circles, and there's 6 of you or whatever. And basically, you want to knock other people's pucks away and retain puck possession yourself. Last man wins. Now, I historically have been quite cautious in these, and I think I did start even Wednesday's session quite cautiously, where I focus on trying to stay away from the people that I think are going to go for me, in a small area with limited skating capability that I guess only works for so long. So I sort of shook it up a little bit by the end of it, and I actually managed to win a last man standing session against a couple of people that were picked to play for the team in the upcoming game tomorrow. So really pleased with myself there. Basically managed to get myself down to the last 2, and then kind of went into sort of the middle of the circle, and then left my puck behind and basically just went puck chasing. And it was, I guess, a risky strategy, you could say, but I just I thought that one would be better than go out with a bang instead of a fizzle, I guess is what I'm getting at. But yeah, so that was a really good drill, and then we did a couple of quick laps. And we went into a scrim, and the scrim was really good, actually. So then where they are now preparing for a couple of matches, or a couple of games with other teams, sort of if lines are being set to a degree, and therefore, obviously I'm not in those lines, but that does mean that I have the opportunity to play consistently with people more often than not. So the last sort of happened last week. It definitely happened this week more on purpose because we actually had the first team announcement like beginning of the session, and that was awesome because again, it's a relatively new team. It's the first time I think they're entering competition, and the standard's still really high from what I've experienced in other practice sessions with other teams. But to get that locker room atmosphere of, these are the people, these are the 15 people that have been picked to play forward. 15 people that have been picked full stop. I should say there's only 9 forwards and 6 D. So just I guess worth bearing that in mind for myself. So when I heard that, I was like, ooh, okay. Well, that's just made my job 20% more difficult. But it was great to be in the room when people are getting their names announced, and there's a real sense of pride. And particularly, the first couple of lines almost write themselves, and I think that's the case for most teams. But the third line, and then spares. So we do take 2 spare forwards, but they tend to sit for most of the game in reserve, unless the score's very unbalanced either way, or someone gets hurt or tired or something like that. So they probably won't get an awful lot of ice time, honestly. And they could potentially get none. So, so 17 people picked, 15 starters, 2 spares. And anyway, so that was really good. The atmosphere was really good in the room. And the spares didn't get picked till the end of the session, which was also really cool because it meant that it incentivized those that weren't on the list to put the effort in. And what that meant was we had a very, very high intensity, high focus, but still very, still upbeat, but really high intensity practice session and scrim, which was great. Really, really enjoyed that. I will say this much: I'm starting to feel a bit like Gus Nyquist. Really struggling to find the net. Despite having opportunities, I am hitting posts and getting robbed by goalies left and right. Again, another opportunity. Found myself, low slot, near the net, elevate the puck, and the guy glove saves it, and I was just so miffed. And it wasn't like a gloved and held. It was like caught the edge of the pad, and I ended up obviously not scoring. And as is now routine, when I almost score, shout fuck, and then chase after the puck. So that's basically what happened, really. Slightly frustrating, but it is what it is. And I think what was good this time as well was the I guess I felt a bit more confident with the group, and I got a lot of feedback from the group, and it was really lots of communication, lots of talking, a lot more than I've done previously, so starting to feel that. Other highlights include breaking up a zone entry from one of the best D-man we have on the team. So his skating is so fluid. He's a really good puck carrier, and I was able to get my stick in there. After basically, I think he turned me, and I then put in a big effort on the back check. And as he turned to cut sort of cut out to the wing, and then I suppose try and get the zone, I just put in a stick lift and just nudged the puck a little bit, and it just broke up his entry, and he had to reset. And I know again that's something that people probably wouldn't normally celebrate, but when you are in the bottom 2 in your team and you're able to break up a play from someone who's in the top 5 in your team, I think that for me was something to be really proud of. Did have a couple of opportunities where I had a little bit of puck possession, was able to move with the puck, and I think I drew in a few guys, made a backhand pass over to the wing, and then made a change basically. And got involved in a board battle, which was cool. So a couple of guys got pinned up against the boards, obviously trying to protect the puck. I come in. I do manage to win it, sweep it around the boards, but unfortunately they managed to effectively pick it up after that. Limited options, unfortunately. But it was good to get involved in that kind of thing too. And then the session ends, obviously, so gutted. We ended up tying 1-1 after a really long scrim, like a good 40 minutes of effort. But there was so much effort from everyone to try and that was just the level of intensity, I guess. There was more defending because it was more intense. I think I feel like that's the thing that drops off in sort of lower intensity sessions, is that the back checking, the gapping up, trying to prevent goals essentially. So anyway, go back to the locker room, and it's just a hive of activity, an absolute, a really buzzing environment. I get loads of feedback as well, so some really kind words. And obviously we had our captains announced. They announced the 2 people that are going to be going as spares, which is awesome. And they were both my line mates actually. So the guys I played with like almost the whole night ended up getting picked up as spares, which is awesome. I was really, and you know, it was almost like a sense of pride, like being, I was on the ice when those people were able to contribute. I'm not saying that I did anything necessarily to help them. Maybe actually playing with the anchor was the one that was the thing that got it done. But I don't know. It was really cool to have those kind of moments. I've not really had that kind of thing in a long time. So and then I guess the couple of things I was able to take away and just chatting with a couple of the guys at the end. One of them was sort of saying, you're clearly putting in the right level of effort and intensity. Like you are, like no one's going to fault you for the effort you're putting in. And you've only been doing it a few months, so just keep putting that level of effort in, and you'll get there. And that's the most important thing: positioning and intensity. So, you're going to make mistakes, or you might make the right play. I almost teed him up for a goal as well, which was cool. So it was that nice bit of feedback. And then I actually got a couple of people praise me on my shot, which was saved, which was cool as well. And so a couple of guys do the rounds, a bit more fist bumping, bit more of a team atmosphere. It was really, really cool actually. And then I drove home extremely tired, but had a brilliant time, really, really good time. And then I had 2 sessions yesterday. So yesterday was Saturday, and I had a full day of hockey actually, starting with a training session with Extreme Edges, and that's essentially the company for one of the guys who runs it is the skating coach for the Cardiff Devils, which is really cool actually. Or he has done some skating coaching with them. Really good session, really focused. We just did an hour of drills, which I really feel like I will benefit from. So I'd love to do more of those. Really focused. There were only 20 people. It wasn't crowded. Plenty of time on the ice actually doing the drills and resting in between. And it was really just, again, working on some of those fundamentals. So we did lots of starting and stopping. We did loads of tight turns. What else did we have? We had a really interesting drill actually that I kind of enjoyed in a funny sense, because it was almost like a challenge to find your balance point. But basically, skate to the blue line and then squat and see how low you can go, and then also do it while holding the stick above your head, so you raise your center of gravity to make it more difficult. Really enjoyed that. Just enjoyed the kind of almost like thinking it out as it's happening. It's like, okay, hang on a minute, I've got to move this way. I've got to shift my weight this way, because it's not happening quickly, but it's still obviously something you need to react and respond to, or you're going to fall over. And it just felt like a really good drill actually. I really enjoyed that one. Oddly, it was hard work though. And then we did a bit of puck carrying and sort of round the cones, take a shot on goal sort of stuff just to finish off. Great group, mixed abilities, which was awesome. So you had some very, very, very competent skaters who were really fine-tuning their skating. And then you had people like me who, when it came down to doing some of those interacting with the cones and the puck at the end, some people were mohawking around. And if we weren't, comfortable with that, then basically the guys were like, just work on you, just one leg inside edge, your way around each of the cones instead. And, there were sort of different levels and opportunities to tailor the drills to those levels, which was really good actually. And I am really hopeful that they put another session on. I really want to get out to another one. I think it was very helpful for me. So then I actually went and watched the Bristol Pitbulls game, which was cool. Picked up the jersey that I ordered a little while back. So we're now on, I think, 17, possibly 18, because I might have another one coming in January. That's coming over from Canada to complete my Jets 1.0 collection, 2.0 collection, sorry. So at some point soon, I'll have to do some kind of visual content for this, because that's becoming a problem, evidently. I just can't help myself. I just see them and I feel like I need to have them just hung up on my wall or something. So anyway, so I had a lovely time there. Really enjoyed just chilling out and watching a game for a bit. And the reason I was there watching the game anyway was because my session was in Cardiff, went across to Bristol, and then I had a 90-minute scrim. In fact, it ended up being nearer 100. But a 90-minute scrim with another team who do an open scrim sort of format thing. And they were so friendly and so welcoming. And again, really good. They're in a division or two higher than the one that the team I'm registered is. I'd say the skating quality of some of the best players isn't too different. Actually, honestly, it's quite similar in some ways. I do feel like maybe the depth maybe they had an extra line of depth. Essentially, that's kind of really it. But goodness me, it was what a great session. And I am shocked, but for the 90 minutes, my legs were okay. I did short, sharp shifts. I really tried to focus on that actually because it meant that I was able to contribute every time I went out on the ice. And I think again, it was a lesson learned for me because I was sort of going, okay, well, I'm quite tired, so I need to make sure that I am sort of making the most of the time I have on the ice, contributing in the best way I can. And so it would be like, okay, even if I'm just doing 45 seconds or something, that's what I'll do. I'd rather put in a really big effort and then step off. But just a really good session. So I actually got an assist, which is really cool. So rebound off a shot. It was a low shot into the pads. The guy picked it up around the net and sort of jammed it in, which is great. So that was cool. And then I hit a post. It's becoming a theme. Once again, find myself open. I feel like I'm developing an office. It's the right hand side of the low slot, and I pick up the puck, and I beat the goal. I had the goalie dead to rights, and I'm still thinking about it now. Clearly not recovered from this. I hit the inside of the post and it missed, and in fact, this time I shook it up because I started laughing and then shouted "motherfucker" as I was skating back. So I shook it up a little bit. But then I was, like I say, big back check once again. Every time I seem to have a shot, it seems to end up on the stick of the opponent and not in the back of the net. But good God, I just sat down and I was a little bit angry. And then by the time I stepped on the ice the next time around, I wasn't thinking about it. But, it was so close. Probably the closest I've been aside from getting robbed at the, earlier in the week, actually. But again, I'm talking about this more often now, which is cool. Like in the tough sessions against players that are good, like that play recreational hockey, I'm now finding gaps in the ice against these people rather than gaps in the ice against beginners, and that I can be really proud of. And I was saying to someone yesterday night, the reason I swear and get pissed off is because I care, right? It's because I want to succeed. I don't like failing and losing. Now, losing as a team, I don't mind, oddly. That's fine. If I lose as... Well, it's fine. That's probably not the right way to put it. If I lose as part of something bigger than me, it doesn't really impact me in the same way that if I lose individually. So if I lose a battle, if I get beaten by someone, if I get turned by them, whatever, there is a moment where I'm super duper pissed off. And thankfully I can let it go in the moment, and that's fine. But do you know what I mean? I think that's fine. I think it's okay to be passionate. It's okay to care. It's okay to get frustrated. It's how you portray it, obviously. And so I'll have a laugh about it while I shout. And I'm not going to break my stick or do anything unsportsmanlike. I'll just swear and then get over it. But at the same time, while I've got that side to me, I can actually celebrate some of the nearlies. I can celebrate some of the misses. I can celebrate some of the things that I've not quite pulled off because, if I look 4 months ago, was I finding soft parts of the ice in an intense session with, teams that play in the second of 5 divisions in the south of the UK? So you just sort of think, actually, no, I wasn't. So there's a lot of pride to take in that. There's a lot of good things to take from the fact that I'm able to find the right spots and contribute to the game, even if I'm still making mistakes, even if I'm not. I mean, the number of times the puck ended up in my feet instead of on my stick, it was unreal. But I was still able to contribute, and even that, caused some swearing. I was like, oh my God, please, just stop hitting me. It's squaring the skates. Because every pass was just to the skates. And I was like, oh, dang it. and that was probably me not positioning myself right rather than anyone else. But I'm able to get frustrated and also celebrate, the little things, I think. And that is probably quite a healthy place to be. And I'm really pleased that that's where I'm at with hockey. Because I think if I only celebrated goals and assists, I'd have a pretty short list of things to celebrate. Also pulled off a really nice blocked shot, actually, which I was quite proud of. That was all in actual positioning, not just by chance, from one of the good D-men, actually, who ripped it on net. And I'd say got my shin pads in the way, which is great. Really good with that. And then again, and just stick work. So I talked about, obviously, breaking up a play in the other training session. I was able to intercept multiple passes, break up plays with my stick. So I feel like that's sort of something that I'm okay with. And I can take a bit of pride in. So active stick gets in the way, trying to block passes, trying to do the right kinds of things. Still probably not perfect, but certainly not utterly shite. Yeah, really good. Anyway, really enjoyed that session. Didn't get home until quite late. I was in the bath with a cider at 3 o'clock last night, thinking I should probably be in bed, but my legs were quite sore, so I really wanted to find a way to recover, basically. Yeah, so it was good. It was good. Like I said, it was good. Really good session. And that concluded it, really, for skating this week. As we head up to Christmas, essentially. It's only a few days away now. Again, like I said earlier, no session today, the Adult Learn to Play. Instead, I'm going to be taking a day of rest, because yesterday I did 2 skates, and it feels like it'd be really beneficial for me. Also, because on Monday I have a skate, and on Tuesday I have 2 hours. So 2 hours of ice time, and that's going to be brutal, honestly, I imagine. But really, really good. Really, really excited. And it's at a reasonable hour. It's like 7 o'clock at night. So I'm going to be actually fresh. I get home for a reasonable hour. What I might do this evening is pop along to go watch the Rec League team play. I think that might be quite fun. Yeah, just an opportunity to relax, I think, is needed. And then after that, basically that takes me up to the 23rd, so there'll be a few days off over Christmas, and then skating is back after Christmas. So over the Christmas break, just again, rest up, probably do a bit of exercise, actually, a bit of fitness stuff, and then go again, which is really cool. So I'm going to bring back the 3 bullet points on the Jets segment, since I've just had a really nice run through, I guess, of what I've been working on. I'm going to keep it really short and sharp still. I like that the most. So my 3 points. Number 1, Connor Hellebuck is unreal. The Jets have not been winning, and I think that's kind of evident by their record. I think they're, I say, tied for last in terms of points. They're pretty damn close to actually being at the bottom of the league, and I think maybe they're taking, if you're not first, you're last, a little too seriously. No, but that's where they're at. But there was a game, it was a Blues game. They lost 1-0 against one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And honestly, it should have been 4 or 5-0. And even against the Avs, they lost 3-2. Sounds really good as a scoreline. The Avs took their foot off the gas, and Helly saved like 2 or 3 goals that certainly would have gone in, had other goaltending been around. So it's really evident that even if the Jets don't succeed, he is masking a myriad of issues and able to bring games from like 6-2 to 2-1, or, you know what I mean? He makes games 1-goal games either way. He's so good. So good. Point number 2, really been enjoying watching Barron skate. He's got a lot of jump, and I think there's something for me to latch onto there, because he's not a high skill player necessarily. I mean, obviously it's the NHL. They're all pretty high skilled, but comparatively, it's not like he's a high skill player. He's not, second line winger, whatever it might be. He's a proper crash and bang, grinding kind of guy. Throws the body around, and he's got wheels, absolute wheels. So he scores short-handed against the Avalanche, which was a great goal. Takes it to the backhand as well, which is always cool. But I love the effort he's putting in. It looks like he doesn't take a shift off, and he's full on all the time. So he's like a bigger, maybe better version of like a Brandon Tanev in terms of energy and effort, I think, which is great. Really cool to watch, even if the team aren't doing particularly well. Which brings me neatly on to bullet point number 3. It's probably time to tank. And when I say tank, I don't mean necessarily, trade everything away under the sun and go into this horrible, decade-long hard rebuild. What I do mean is waive some veterans, bring up some youth, and then just give, the likes of Salmonson, Chibrikov, maybe Lambert, don't know. Give them some runway, give them a 20-game stretch, and then do the same. Rotate in. Bring a couple of other guys in. Do you want to bring in some of the AHLers who have been career AHL guys? See how they mix it in with the big boys. I think it's a really good opportunity, actually, to test some depth and get a little bit more out of the team that way. So, I mean, that's what I'd like to see. I'd love to see Sam Monson just being effectively a full-time NHLer to develop him for next year. At this point, we are, like I say, tied for last or 2 points off of last in the league. Time to get a little bit real and go, okay, actually, do you know what? That's not bad. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. But let's make sure, obviously, the core pieces don't age out and we get some young an injection of youth and speed and give them the time to develop, because next year, with a high draft pick, someone who can make an immediate impact, with the right moves in the off-season, you might not have to burn it all down to take a significant step forward. I really feel like there's some opportunity there that's perhaps being missed. Sell a couple of pieces as well, don't get me wrong. We've got a few UFAs. We've got a couple of older guys that maybe have 2 years left on the deal that you might get a good return for. Some of the utility pieces. I talked about it in an episode previously, but yeah, I think now's the time to realise it might as well happen, and it doesn't need to be blow it all to hell. It can just be shift a few pieces here and there and take a couple of risks. Right, that's it. Those are my 3 bullet points for the Jets. And with that, the end of the episode. Thanks ever so much for listening. It's been another lovely week of hockey in my life so far. And I'm extremely excited for a couple more sessions next week and then a Christmas break. On which note, I suppose, have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you choose to celebrate, and whoever you choose to celebrate it with. And look forward to catching up afterwards after far too much cooked meat and drinking, presumably. I'm sure I'll end up doing something similar. So anyway, thanks for listening. Until next time, bye for now.